So from my first game that I didn't get to play in, to that home run I hit in Toronto, to this very day, there's been so many positive influences in my life, and it would be impossible to make it to the major leagues without every one of them. So, when you think of everybody, when you guys think of positive influences in your life, who comes to mind? Who are the first people come to mind? Besides Adam Gonzalez. So you guys think about that. So without doubt, who said Mom? Well, here we go. It's a great segue right here. So with no question, no doubts in my mind, my two biggest influences in my life are my parents, my mom and my dad. Their continual support to the highs and lows, and there's a lot of those. It's a roller coaster ride, right? The time, the energy, the sacrifices that they made just so I can inch closer to that dream that I know you guys have too, I'm sure, to be a Major League Baseball player. But there was a time in my life where I wrestled. It was actually just one time I wrestled with playing baseball. And I didn't want to go play at this tournament because my brothers and my sisters, they're going up to the lake house. And I'm like, I want to go with them, Dad. I don't want to go play at this baseball tournament. And my dad asked me one question, just one time. He said, Adam, what do you want to do with baseball? Well, I said, you know that, Dad. I want to be a Major League Baseball player. Specifically, I want to play one game on Wrigley Field. Because you know I grew up 5 miles from Wrigley Field. He says, well, Adam, you got to get in the car. You got to go play in this tournament. And that's it. He gave me that direction, right? Simple. And then my mom, on the other hand, she asked me one question, the same question, about 100 times. And this usually happened when I was in a slump or not playing well. It was out of love and out of concern. She would always ask, Adam, are you done playing baseball? And that question set me off all the time. I'm like, and we had some good arguments. Very loving arguments, of course. But the point I want to make, though, is that my parents, these two biggest influences in my life, they opened up that line of communication for me. They just saw, they knew that I might resist or push back, but they had that concern, and they saw the potential that I had, and they just believed in me. So I want to share with you guys one of my sweetest memories with my parents, and that's the second time I got called up to the big leagues. So, I'm in AAA, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, and the manager calls me up and says, you're going to Cincinnati, and guess where you're going to play? You're going to play in Chicago. You're going back home. You get to go play at Wrigley Field. Could you imagine how excited I was? I didn't even sleep that night. Both my brothers Will and David, were with me that night at the hotel. We stayed up talking all night long. I couldn't. So I really got no sleep that night. But I flew into O'Hare Airport. My parents picked me up, and we drove right to Wrigley Field. Right from there. We show up at like 11 a.m. and I got my Major League Baseball ID, and I showed the security guard. Have you guys seen Rookie of the Year? I felt like that kid from Rookie of the Year walking into Wrigley Field like that. And it was just like, I wish I could paint a perfect picture for you guys of how sweet this moment was. This is my dream come true. So my mom and dad, they never stepped on Wrigley Field before. I never stepped on Wrigley Field. It was like sacred to us. We let ourselves on the field, we walked around the grass in the outfield, we touched the ivy on the wall, and I'm like, holy cow, I'm playing against the Chicago Cubs tonight. This is unreal. But it was the sweetest thing because I got to share that with the two biggest influences in my life. And I just can't thank my parents enough for sacrificing their time, their energy, to let me live out my Major League Baseball career, let me live out my Major League Baseball dream. So parents, I want to ask you, when you're players are struggling or going through a hard time, do you open up that line of communication to them? Do you express your concern? Do you give them that direction? And I'm sure you do. I just want to emphasize how important that was for me, getting through all those years of playing baseball. So, not only were my parents a huge influence in my life, but my whole entire family. I have family right here tonight to come support me as I speak to you guys. And I just know in any situation I'm in with family, they're going to be there. They have always been there to have my back. But tonight I want to get specific. I want to go back to Chicago and let you guys in on why I'm able to be here, the opportunity that I had to be here. So I want to talk about my Uncle Paul and his wife, my Aunt Sue Ann, and my Uncle Barry and his wife at the time, my Aunt Annette, and how much of an impact and influence that they had in my life. So let me take you guys back to ancient history, right? Back to when I was 5 years old. And we're in the inner city of Chicago, in a rough part of the city. Pretty rough. Not the roughest, but not the safest either. And my memory, one of my first memories is back from that same field that I didn't get to play my first T-ball game in. We're walking back to our house, and about 50 yards away from my parents' house, I see these guys running out of our house with my parents' computers. And they get into the getaway car. I remember the tires screeching away. A sweet memory as a 5-year-old, right? And without saying, we had to get out of this environment if we wanted to have some opportunities. So that's when my Uncle Paul and Uncle Barry stepped up. And they got us out of that environment. And I would like to think that without us moving out of the inner city, I would have still been a Major League Baseball player. I like to think that, right? But realistically, that probably wouldn't have happened. And just every day, I'm so grateful and appreciative for them. And that's a big thing, right? But I look at Coach Sundberg and what kind of organization he's put together, and the opportunity you guys have to go to Cooperstown. That's amazing. And as you guys can see how important family has been in my life, but I couldn't do it without coaches like Coach Sundberg. It's impossible. So I want to talk to you guys about a couple coaches that I had in my life. First one is my high school baseball coach, freshman year. He gave me the 3 C's, and I hope you guys remember this too. The 3 C's: confidence, courage, and concentration. And they stuck with me all the way from my freshman year, all the way till I was done playing baseball. And it's kind of funny because I actually did really well. Because Coach Bo praises me, and I still talk to him today. But he told me to use this when you're on deck. Think about confidence, courage, concentration when you're studying the pitcher, and then when you get in the batter's box, keep repeating it to yourself. And I did, and I was raking. I was playing so well. And so I go home and tell my dad, I'm like, Dad, Coach Bo Pray's the greatest coach in the world. I love this guy. He's like, Adam, don't you know that Coach Bo Pray's the same coach that cut your brother Will from the team 2 years ago? I don't know what to say, but it was, I still, like I said, I still talk to Coach Bo Pray today. Huge influence in my life. And I like to talk to a lot of my coaches. I reach back, and it seems like they appreciate it. Me taking the time out of my day and just saying, hey, or you want to come to Chicago, you want to come watch me play the White Sox, you want to come watch me play the Cubs. And it's just to keep that connection with them. I just never forget it. So I want to fast forward. Now I'm going to talk about 2 of my favorite Major League Baseball managers. So it's Andy Green, who you saw in the video. He was my manager in San Diego. And the other manager, probably my favorite manager, is Bob Melvin. So he's the current manager for the Oakland A's right now. Let me tell you a little bit about Andy Green. So we were teammates and roommates in AAA in 2008. And in 2008, I was so close to breaking into the big leagues. So close. I was in AAA, and But the thing, I was so far away because I was hitting a buck 80 in June, and they were talking about sending me back down to double A. And I had a great conversation with Andy Green. And he told me, basically the message was, don't be so hard on yourself. We all know that you care about this game, and you care about your career, but you don't have to show it. Control your emotions, and don't be so hard on yourself. So I took that advice, and I started raking again. And I turned around, I hit 400. 400. It's like Ted Williams stuff. 2 months in a row from the influence that Greeny had on me. So I went from hitting a buck 80 and being almost sent down to double A to hitting 280 and getting called up to the big leagues for the first time on August 8th, 2008. So fast forward 8 years later, Andy Green is now the manager of the San Diego Padres. And I'm going through all the negotiations, whatever, in the offseason. And who calls me? The San Diego Padres. They call me, they want me to be on their team. And coincidentally, I'm back where, kind of in the same position. With the Padres, I'm back hitting a buck 80 in June. And they're talking about sending me back down to AAA. And I'm an established major leaguer now. And I'm like, I'm not going back to AAA. I don't want to go back there. So I'm sending at batting practice. You know the turtle they have in the big leagues, whatever. I don't know. I'm standing next to her and I'm like, Greeny, friend of friend, how the heck am I going to get out of this funk? And almost word for word, no joke, he told me about the same advice that he told me back in 2008. We know you care about this. You don't have to show it though, right? Don't be so hard on yourself. And if anybody else told me that, I would be like, whatever. You know, but with Andy Green, it was such a powerful influence in my life that I took it and I ran with it. I ended up doubling my career home runs that year. And I ended up signing a Major League Baseball deal with the Oakland A's the next year after that, 2017. So that's Andy Green. What an amazing story. What a coincidence, right? Now, I want to talk to you about Bob Melvin. This guy's amazing. I think he just won Manager of the Year last year, possibly. But in 2012, they were sending me up and down between AAA about 6 times, and that's not easy. Especially it's probably harder on my wife, Callie, than it was on me to go up and down between AAA and the big leagues. It's just a tough lifestyle, right? And I never say anything in these meetings. They call you in, you know you're getting sent down. Like, fine, I'm gonna go back and work my tail off. I'm gonna be back here in a heartbeat. I'm gonna let you know I'm gonna be back here. But I never said anything in those meetings. That about 6 times they sent me down that year, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna speak up for myself one time. And I said, Bullman, I wish you guys had more confidence in me. And without hesitation, Bob Melvin said, before we can have more confidence in you, you gotta have more confidence in yourself. I'm like, wow, eye-opening. A lot of major league managers would sympathize with you, right? I'm sorry, like, you know, it's the front office, they want to send you down. I got nothing to do with it, right? You're gonna be back here in no time. But Bo Melvin, his honesty and like how direct he was, just how much respect I have for something like that. Went down, busted my tail. They called me back up. We end up winning the AL West, the American League West, on the last day of the season against the Texas Rangers. 162 games to decide who's first place in the AL West. And we end up going to the ALDS, and you guys were there to see that. We got to play against the Tigers. And the ALDS was my first postseason experience, so just amazing people, amazing influences in my life. And there's been so many other influences in my life as well, but I think it would take about a week. You guys would have to listen to me for about a week if I had to cover all of them, right? Now guys, if I can influence you at all, or if you guys get anything out of me being up here and speaking to you guys, there's 2 things I would say. Is make sure that you're coachable, right? That listen to your parents, your teachers, and your coaches. And sometimes you're not gonna like some of your coaches or teachers. You're gonna have to like your parents. I don't think you have a choice about that. They're stuck with over. But always try at least once. Try to do what they tell you to do at least once, because they truly do care about you. They want you to get better. So that's the first thing. Be coachable and have a good work ethic. You know, they say sweat equity. That's like the physical part, right? You're gonna sweat. You're not gonna want to wake up at 5 a.m. to do weights, or you're not gonna want to run that extra mile. Well, that's the sweat equity you gotta put into it. So work hard, but you have to work smart too. You have to be a student of the game. Go to the Bees games. Go watch the University of Utah play. Watch BYU play. You know there might be a conflict there. Always find a way to learn about the game. So that's working smart. Be coachable, work hard. And I know I talked a lot about like how I was influenced. Well guys, I know you're only 12 years old, but don't think that those 9, 10, 11-year-olds aren't looking up to you. You guys are a big influence and a big example in their lives. So I encourage you guys to prepare to keep, it's awesome just talking with you guys tonight. Just keep being a great example. And to end it, I'm just grateful to be here. Truly, this is an amazing event. It's been awesome to be here. I can't thank you guys enough. I wish you guys the best in Cooperstown. What an amazing experience. I got to go with my wife, Callie. It was like in the middle of winter, so it wasn't like anything like, I didn't get to see the little leaguers running around. But the people there, and the respect that they have there, the purity of the game, you guys are really going to love it. So thank you again so much for having me, and wish you guys the best.